Hello and welcome back, everybody. Good news, bad news. Good news is that, hey, we're here today and I'm going to be playing some ASL. Bad news is Rob is not going to be here um, because, unfortunately, stuff happened in his life. And, Rob, I hope everything is A-okay over there. Now, thankfully, even though this was a little bit on short notice, there is a scenario that is or was coming up that I'm playing now. That is pretty easy for me to just easily dive in and see what's what, and just basically enjoy for a small amount of time before we move on in this cosmic ballet. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, this scenario is a brisk 3 turns. So if you thought there was going to be any length to it, you're sadly mistaken. Um, there's actually quite a few things about this scenario that are interesting, but we'll get to them as we get to them, as is the usual. So let's put that there. That makes the most sense. Right. Like I said, I had to kind of do this a little bit on last minute, so apologies here. Now, this scenario is from the Monkeys with Typewriters 2 pack. I've already talked about it before. These were scenarios designed by people in the community, in the ASL community, a long time ago, and was released as a free pack that anybody can get. I believe the only way to get this pack nowadays is through the ASL Scenario Archive. So if you're not part of that, if you haven't checked it out for whatever reason, definitely go check it out. Again, it's a cool resource. More people should use it, etc., etc., etc. This scenario is rather peculiar because it follows the essentially the same design, at least in most respects, as Yabo. And Yabo is Jabo with an exclamation mark. Is a scenario that takes place itself, I believe, in 1944. I could be a little off on there. Probably like the August or something like that. But again, could be wrong on the dates. But is essentially a German column that is driving through a map. They might have to get some exit points, and they're attacked by I believe, three P-47s. And in this one, we have a very similar, although slightly different, setup. So in this scenario, the Norwegians have a couple of units that are hip, and they have a set of 4 artillery pieces that are presumably lending support to some company or battalion or on the front line, whatever the case may be. And this is important to note because the two groups have different setup requirements. They can't set up together technically. Um, and the German fighter bombers in this case are essentially trying to get as many casualties as they can before moving on. So the fighter bombers in question are three 1939 fighter bombers. Everything you need to know is on the counter. They have 8 morale. They have a 100-pound or kilogram bomb, because I don't think they do pounds. Not because the Germans didn't do pounds or whatever. I think it's just how it's marked. I'm pretty sure they're, or whatever. It's millimeter, 100 millimeters, so it's 36 and all that crap. Um, but it's specifically interesting because, again, you don't see this type of scenario all that often, and this one is kind of a great way for people to just set up by themselves, look at the air rules, and try to really grok how they work. And having that be part of a free scenario pack, which allows anybody to just dive in, is really nice. I don't remember where Yabo or Jabo is from. I think it's a general scenario. I forget which issue, but I'm fairly confident it's in there. Um, But yeah, essentially, uh, interesting scenario, very short scenario. The Germans don't have any. They don't have a turn. They don't have a player turn because the air support acts during the opponent's turn, whether it's during the movement phase or just during the defensive fire phase. Um, there's no special weather condition. EC is normal. There's no wind. Kindling is not allowed. All buildings are single story. Orchards are not in season, and grain is considered open ground. Technically, I guess they're plowed fields, but whatever, they're open ground. Um, as mentioned, there's no German player turn for any purpose. Since there's no German ground units, Norwegian units lose hip and concealment only if they fire or are broken and or pinned. So basically, all of these guns are set up where they are and are considered concealed. If a unit moves in the open, they lose their concealment. It's just as normal. Because there are no German ground units, there can be no mistaken attack. So if there's a mistaken attack, it just means that nothing happens. The plane remains in play. Half squads and the Norwegian SMC may use hip, and if set up in suitable terrain, may begin the game entrenched. Now, I don't know if this necessarily matters all that much considering the victory condition, but at worst, we'll just give the HMGs +2, or we'll give one of them +2 and the other one not. Norwegian guns set up on board with no hip or concealment and unemplaced. So, just to show that, got to read all the SSRs. One gives concealment and later on takes it away so that it doesn't get too confusing here. The guns are not emplaced, so they don't get a +2. They can't gain concealment, period. The guns may not fire smoke because that would be kind of silly if this artillery piece shoots smoke in this guy's hex and then it's impossible to hit him. But that would surely either not be possible or kill whatever units they are shooting at. And if you're playing this physically, you may not have 4 counters, so you're instructed to just use any extra 120 millimeter artillery piece. It doesn't really matter what side you would use or whatever. It's understood that any ground units are Norwegian and count for all regular purposes as Norwegian units. So this scenario is the Germans win at game end if they have amassed 5 or more CVP more than the Norwegians. So very simple. It's probably going to be very useful for me to define if the Germans, if aircraft count for VP. I don't remember if they're ever marked as counting. So you would need to kill, 5 CVP worth of stuff. But it's always worth checking. Oh, there we go. Each aircraft is worth 2 VP. And a non-vehicular gun is worth 2 VP. So essentially, if the Norwegians are ever lucky and get to shoot down an aircraft, that will net them 2 VP, and so on and so on. There's no exit VP. There's no control building stuff. There's no other shenanigans. The only other thing to note is that the HMGs may start in AA mode. Basically, units would not normally be able to shoot at aircraft unless they are in AA mode, and I don't think you're allowed to start in it as an option normally. I forget. Either way, it's not important because we're just given it automatically. Since weather's not going to matter, I'm still going to roll for it, but I doubt it's going to mean anything. There's no rally phase action stuff I want to do. There's no prep fire because technically none of the German aircraft are on board. I believe that only occurs on the movement phase. So speaking of movement phase, we're just going to place the aircraft wherever we want. Not because it's to kind of screw over the Norwegians or anything. It's just there's nothing for me to do. And they have to be placed on board just to acknowledge their presence in the skies. And I don't have a reason to move any of the units that are with the artillery pieces. I guess in a way I could take the 228s, all the various crews, and move them. Maybe I'll do that for turn 2 and just not let them move in turn 1 because that seems like it'd be a little weird. But maybe I'm reading too much into that. So defensive fire phase, we're gonna go into, or I'm gonna try and see if I can get the aircraft rules here, just to go through the flow chart. And if anybody is curious about it, we can go at it in a hopefully logical manner here. So air support, I should probably, can I not do just a better zoom? There we go. Cool. So when aircraft arrive, normally you would, if you um, if you've done stuff to, if you don't get them automatically or whatever, you would roll for them. You would roll for a number of aircraft and the type and so on and so forth. Um, because the arrival stuff, if I remember correctly, it's just if you have a scenario that says you get air support, you basically you go through the whole like process of determining what you get and so on and so forth. But if a scenario gives you specific units, tells you exactly when they get in, all that sort of stuff, my understanding is you do not do any rolls whatsoever. You're not checking to see if they come in with bombs or if, you know, the number of aircraft and all that. Then after arrival, we have aerial combat. The Norwegians do not have any planes in the sky, so we don't have to worry about that. But normally you would have some sort of combat, whether it's, you know, attacker is a Stuka or has bombs or is damaged or is a fighter bomber, all that sort of stuff. Um, I don't think we've ever showed this off yet, dogfighting and aerial combat, but hopefully someday we'll get to that. Now, ground support is basically all I'm going to be doing today, as well as heavy machine guns shooting at planes. So in the planes defensive fire phase, um, we've got our cliff notes here, and like I said, I'll go through them just so that it's pretty clear as to what the heck's going on. So aircraft attack individually; they cannot form a fire group, but they may attack the same units. You don't have to necessarily split your attacks between groups. Walls, hedges, and roadblocks do not provide any TEM to a ground support attack because obviously they're attacking at a higher angle, so they look over all of these obstacles that you would normally encounter if you were on the ground. To hit always takes place outside of just regular firepower shots. So on these counters, if I flip them around, they have 8 morale, they have a 100 millimeter bomb, 1939 is the model, they have a rate of fire of 1, and their firepower is 6. So, and then the 1 star, I believe, is their like combat rating, their aerial combat rating, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong on that. Oh no, wait, shoot, I forget. Anyways, and then fighter bomber obviously dictates what they are. Aircraft cannot attack a location to which it has no LOS. Aircraft can't interdict either. So basically, if you had an internal building location, you would not be able to attack an internal building location. If a unit is in a sewer, planes can't attack units in sewers, all that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, they can see most things. You really need to have like a dead zone where nothing can attack. I believe it's very similar to SAN. Whatever units a sniper can't hit, I believe technically is basically the same as what fighter or what aircraft can't hit. Like I said, they can't interdict, so you don't have to worry about routes and all that with airplanes in the air. You can attack both moving and non-moving units during defensive first fire with the same attack. So this is that's a very important fact to keep in mind. So if I'd moved any of the crews anywhere, I would still be able to attack the artillery piece and the crew, which makes that very strong. Stukas make a strafing attack, may not use bombs, so you can't. Stukas are very particular. Technically, you should be able to in real life, but whatever, they don't want you to. Probably because the Stukas already have a lot of benefits, so I can understand that there. But yeah, Stukas can't strafe and use bombs. We don't have to worry about that here. Prior to attacking, to making an attack on a specific hex, a plane with bombs may designate it will use those bombs to attack that specific hex, with or without an accompanying MG attack. It must be pre-designated if it will also use an MG attack, so you can't just make a bomb attack and then claim you're doing an MG attack as well. Especially since bombs are resolved after any machine gun attacks. Once a bomb to hit die roll is made, that aircraft may not continue to strafe during that player turn, although it must still move to the last hex attacked. So you can strafe for 4 hexes essentially, and then bomb the last one, but you can't bomb and then strafe, which basically the way to look at it is that if you're bombing, if you drop the bombs, the plane wants to pull up and get away, because otherwise it may potentially kill itself, damage itself with shrapnel, all that sort of stuff. A target AFV cannot change its CE or button up status before the initial attack is resolved, but can thereafter, as can any other vehicles in subsequent target hexes, provided they do so before their hex becomes eligible for attack. So you can't just say, well, I'm being attacked by aircraft, I will instantly make my guys go, button up so that you're less vulnerable to fire. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for a lot of these things, pretty, self-evident. So, yeah. So ground support procedure, how this works. I have 3 aircraft. I get to choose which one of these aircraft will go first. Since they're all the same, it does not matter. The only thing that's going to matter here is the potential targets and what I'm trying to do. So aircraft cannot attack in an off-grain fashion. What I mean by this is that you cannot attack V6, W7, X6, Y7, Z6. You have to go in not cardinal directions, but if you're attacking V6, then it's W6 is X5, Y5, Z4, or same thing, V7, V8, V9, etc. in the reverse, and the reverse, and etc. So you really have to follow the hex grains, and this means that a sort of semi-random placement that I chose here for these guns is not perfect. I don't think there is such a thing as perfect here, but it's probably as optimized as you can get. There is no way for this gun to be attacked in the same attack run as this gun, as this gun, as this gun, and this gun, and so on. So it's very strong and it's very important for you to try and think about, those sorts of possibilities. Now, because I know where the hip units are, I'm also not going to do something cheesy like, say, attacking from, Y2 and then, strafing that way. Or maybe more relevantly, doing this way and then dropping the bombs on Y4, because that doesn't make any sense. So again, I'm going to try and make this make sense and do it this way. So when you're moving into attack position, you, unless you're Stukas and you're doing a point attack, you are 4 hexes away from the target. In this case, here. I then make a sighting task check. So it's a task check, and we have a chart that we have to follow on this. So there's a couple of TEMs or DRMs, I should say, that modify this. Because of the limitation of the artillery pieces and where they are, there's no real modifier that's going to be available here. Nothing could set up in a building. There's no defensive terrain. They're all in the open. So there's no DRM for hindrance. There's no DRM for terrain. There's no friendly units anywhere. The target isn't vehicular or a boat in water. It hasn't entered a new hex. It's not part of a column. It hasn't been attacked by a friendly plane or unit, and it is not entirely concealed or hip. So there's no DRM. We just go with whatever we have, and I rolled a 5, which is well below the required, in this case, 8 morale. So 8 morale, rolled 5. I'm well below that, so it will be able to make that attack. Now, at this point, light AA, as in HMGs, could potentially attack. There's not much of a reason for me to do so right now. Certainly not with this HMG, because I'm just revealing myself, and if this doesn't blow up, then, you know, the Germans will have a lovely shot at 2 units. I kind of wanted them to be in the orchards so that they wouldn't be exposed, and I didn't want them in Y3 because I was worried that the orchards would, you know, add a +1 to hindrance and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, light attack takes place, and we go to our stuff about light AA attacks. Now, hopefully, it's on this one. Cool. So, light AA versus area target. Targets always functions as a form of defensive first fire by the attacker. Aerial aircraft counters are assumed to be out of light AA range, except when conducting an attack run after a successful sighting task check or while in their intended landing hex if we're doing gliders and stuff. So only AAA guns with IFV, infantry manned HMGs, and vehicular AAMGs and AA capable blah 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 are capable at attacking as light AA. Excuse me. So AA guns with IFV use that IFV versus aircraft directly on the IFT without a 2-hit die roll. A machine gun loses its multiple rate of fire capability when it fires at an aerial target and is subject to cowering, but no DRM leader DRM may apply. A light AA attack may not attack the same aerial target more than once in the same target hex per player turn. So you can't just say like, oh well, you're starting your run, I'm gonna keep shooting, you know, until, you know, the cows come home. It not only do they lose multiple rate of fire, so it doesn't matter there, but you don't just get to keep shooting and shooting and shooting. Is there anything else? Regardless of movement status, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, resolution. Light AA fire versus aircraft is resolved on the vehicle line on the IFT. There are no modifiers to this roll, but it is never modified by TM or hindrances other than LV and smoke. Aircraft are not subject to the DRM for first fire movement open, not assault movement. They're planes, so I don't think that would ever matter. But they do get a special positive DRM equal to the number inside the star symbol on the aircraft counter. So that's this counter, the number next to the star. The counters are pretty small, so that's probably why the numbers are next to it. So there's a +1 DRM to attacks against it. Now, if the final IFT die roll is less than the vehicle number, it's eliminated. If it's equal, it's damaged. And if it's over by 1, it has to break off its attack and evade. And then you have other stuff that can happen for damaged aircraft and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not going to bother shooting this one. I'm going to wait until it has done its run. And then hopefully these HMGs will be able to do something against these other ones. So I don't care about doing a strafing run. Just because there's not really anything I can do. So they're basically going to drop their bombs and do a machine gun shot against them, and then that'll essentially be it. So just need to remember what we have here. So if I'm not doing any light AA, I'm designating a strafing run. So initial locations attacked cannot be devoid of enemy units, which is why this has to, Y6 has to have a unit. Yeah, you make an attack, you advance a hex, there's light AA, you make an attack, you advance a hex, light AA, you make an attack, you advance 1 hex, etc., etc., etc. Now, you're always shooting, if I remember correctly, you're always shooting 4 hexes away. So the first hex is Y6, that's where I will drop bombs. And then, you know, your strafe is X6, W7, V7. You're not attacking the same location 4 times, because that would be kind of insane. Just looking over here if there's anything else I've missed. Couple things for machine guns and thing. So machine gun armaments from aircraft are not subject to cowering. It makes sense. It's just machine guns, and the pilot should not have any malice there. There's nothing regarding buildings they have to worry about. There's no armored targets. yeah, if you're attacking an armored target, you use vehicle target type and black to hit numbers. We're not doing any of that. Bombs, yeah, there's no, not worried about buildings because it's not going to affect it. Black to hit numbers, which is very important. And the to hit number applies to both target types, both infantry and vehicular. So something to keep in mind there. And yeah, I think I think that should be all I need to do. The only other thing to keep in mind is that the attack is at a 7 to 12 hex range, unless you're doing a point attack, which, unless that's reserved for Stukas. Okay, yeah. Fighter bomber makes a point attack in the same manner as a strafing run with the following differences. After a fighter bomber has made its initial attack from 4 hexes away and has moved towards that target to the next hex in the pre-designated hex grain, it may attack the same target hex again. Moreover, because it is now attacking from 3 hexes away, any to hit die roll is based on the 0 to 6 column on the 2 hit instead of the 7 to 12. After the second attack, a fighter bomber must still attempt to continue moving along the pre-designated hex grain until it occupies its target hex for purpose of receiving light AA fire, but cannot make additional attacks during that player turn. So yeah, so I am 4 hexes away. I'm attacking this guy. I will make 1 attack. It is 6 firepower because I'm using the machine guns only on the first attack. A 7 on 6 is a normal morale check, which the crew is fine. Then the aircraft moves 1, and I don't believe I get to do both a machine gun and you know what? I might be able to. And then I do it's only via bombs? No. All right, cool. So I get to do machine gun and bombs. So machine guns happen first, so we do another IFT roll. 11, nothing happens with that. And then I will do a 2-hit roll. Black numbers on infantry target type. There shouldn't be any modifiers. They're in the open. There's no concealment. There's no non-assault movement or anything like that. And I don't believe there's any pluses for being in an aircraft. Just checking the chart here, and I don't think there is. So that is just on the cusp of an attack, which is at the very least nice for me. Well, nice for me. I am playing both sides. Sometimes, you know. Now to check what our values are. Our values. So I have dropped bombs. It is a hit. We go to the IFT, and it is on 100 millimeters, which is a 20 firepower. Okay, well, that is a straight up 1 KIA. I believe no matter what, it would, like, I'm targeting the artillery piece. The artillery piece is never affected by the machine guns. At least I'm pretty sure they aren't. And a KIA on a gun would kill the crew to go with it. So hopefully it was not a really bad idea for me to choose. If I... Can I flip that? No. Okay. Yeah, so this gun just blows up. And then move a 3rd time, move a 4th time, or sorry, move a 3rd time, move a 4th time, and then that's it. He's dropped his bombs, and we'll move him off to the corner to signify that he has done his attack. That was really bad and not cool, so I'm going to make this as an attempt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now, I believe the rule for a machine gun or anything attacking an aircraft... Oh, you know what? Yeah, they don't have to do that. Cool. So if an AA gun was attacking a plane, I believe the distance is doubled whenever you're doing against aircraft. So, for example, if this HMG was using a 2-hit, you would calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 from this hex to that hex, and then you would double it for attacking an aircraft. But we don't have to do that, so cool. Yeah, So I'm going to make this announcement. I'm going to do a point attack, just like I did last time, because that worked so very well. We go to the handy dandy chart, and the chart again tells us that we have to do a task check anyways for our sighting. So we will open this. We will go to our task checks, and I get another great task check, which is fantastic for me. As the German player, not great for me as the Norwegian player. It's probably about this time I should get the CVP counters out. A gun is worth 2, and the crew is worth 2. So I make the task check. That succeeds, and I think I don't really have anything to worry about from here anymore. So I'm going to reveal the heavy machine gun in Y4, and it's going to shoot at the aircraft. Now, we've already been over the effects and how it works, but just again going over once more. It's a form of defensive first fire. The machine gun loses its multiple rate of fire, so it can't shoot again. It is subject to cowering, which it did, which is problematic, because that will count as technically a prep fire. It's a defensive first fire by the attacker in the Norwegian. It's weird. The aircraft just makes things weird to determine these things, but we're gonna just mark them as a prep fire. And again, it's against the infantry, the vehicle line. So if we look at our chart for the for infantry, or God, for IFT, vehicle star line, I actually don't know what our vehicle's set at. If it is less than the vehicle kill number, okay, but oh, right. Duh. I'm a dork. The vehicle kill number. So I shot at 6. They cowered. So technically it would go down to 3. Or sorry, it would go to 4. I don't know why I was doing half there. And then I rolled a 6. 4 firepower needs a 5 or less. And there is a +1 to the DRM. So I don't get the evade mechanic against it. It just it is fine. The aircraft will survive. So when the aircraft is there and has gone through the first round of light AA attacks, it will make its attack at a 7-12 range. Again, it's just shooting its machine guns here because it's doing a point attack and will drop bombs in the next hex. So IFT, that is a normal morale check. The crew is fine. I'm doing great on that, at least. They will advance 1 hex. I don't want to use the HMG and the other HMG because I'm going to save it. I'm going to try and save it for the other guy anyways. And then I will do the machine gun and bomb attack. So machine guns first. 6 on 6 is a 1 check. The crew is... they can't disrupt or anything, so they're fine. They're just broken. And the bombs, that will not be a hit. Because there's no positives or anything for a broken unit. Then they will advance a second time, a third time, and a fourth time, and that will be it. They will get moved to the side. And now I kind of have a tough decision here. I could try my luck at going after that crew, and then I could just auto recall, or at least I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to declare recall, or just not use the planes and I would win. Or I could go after another unit and see if I can get some luck here. I think we'll just play it for fun here, because I don't think it matters either way. Maybe I'll just mark this as a German win, just because I think double 6s, really high likelihood of that being a success. At worst, I can always just use one number for the other. But yeah, so I will place my guy in V9. I will do a task check. That will not succeed because there is no size modifier for that unit. There's no negatives because if I had used, so if I had targeted V6, I would have gotten it because of the -1 for having previously been used. So let's do a little thought experiment. I will do. Oh, I would have to reveal this and do all that. You know what? Sure, because I will shoot at them anyways. So this HMG is going to wake up. They're going to take a shot at the fighter bomber. It is an IFT shot. They don't cower, so that is on 6 firepower. The vehicle number is a 6, and the fighter bomber has a +1, so it will equal. So when it equals, the aircraft is damaged, 7.226. So this aircraft is now damaged. A damaged plane is recalled unless held in melee. Any damaged aircraft that is damaged a second time by any means is eliminated. Okay, so that doesn't... Cool. Is recalled 7.24. Does it at the end of the current phase? So yeah, I guess it doesn't get to do anything. Let me see if there's any. See, the British player would like to attack, and with its other fighter bombers before that Stuka can escape. It is unable to do so now because its initial attack was pre-designated against its It must attack at least once before switching targets. Sure. Yeah, no, okay. So basically, this aircraft gets damaged, and then they will get recalled at the end of the phase. So that's just it. They are fine, quote unquote. So we're done with defensive fire. There's no advancing fire phase. Routes, there are. I could choose to keep a guy where he is, but that doesn't make any sense. So I have 2 options. I either go to S8 or to V3. S8 makes the most sense, so I will go there. We go to advances. There's none. I really don't need to move anybody. We'll go to CC, and then we will skip turn 1 for the Germans. We go to turn 2 for the Norwegians. I will try a rally with these guys. Didn't get it. So, yeah, I guess technically the German turns don't have German turns. Let me see how it's written on the snare card. There are no German player turns for any purposes. Cool. So yeah, this guy doesn't get to lose his DM early because there's no German turn. So he has to have it now and didn't get the rally. So he's fine. I won't reveal this guy just because strafing. I don't think it's really going to matter, but whatever. So prep fire, there's none because again, they can't shoot at the aircraft while things are going. So we'll go straight to the defensive fire phase here. I have options. Now I can only strafe. So it's kind of a matter of where do I target and why. And I think my best bet here is perhaps having one guy in U2 target Y4 and try to machine gun him as a point attack. So I will attack twice. For whatever reason, I'm curious if I have to declare all. I don't think I have to do all of them at the same time. So anytime must always state just before resolving its second attack. Oh wow, okay, so you can make your first attack and then you declare if it's a strafing or point attack before the second attack. Okay. Interesting. But you don't have to declare. Okay, cool. Yeah, so U2 is going to attack the guys in the orchard. They will make a sighting task check. 7. Excuse me. Is there a sighting check thing in these tables? No. Cool. I shouldn't say cool because it's not, but whatever. Target is in an orchard. That is a +3, so I will not get it. Uh, in... Ooh, do I retaliate? No. I'm going to let that slide, so he just doesn't do anything. And then, I guess, for purposes... For porpoises, do I get anything for brush? Brush is at +1. You know what? Sure. Again, let's try to have some fun here. So this fighter bomber, the last fighter bomber for this turn anyways, is going to try attacking EE8. They will make their sighting task check. They will absolutely get it. After they make their sighting task check, they get attacked. So light attack from, or light AA from the guy in Y4 because he didn't shoot. And that will be a kill for sure. Because I don't believe there's any save or anything you can do. Once it's under the vehicle to kill number, it's dead. Yeah, vehicle or aircraft is eliminated, so that's it. That's worth 2 points. And at this point, I don't think I can win as the Germans. If I'd gone after the broken guy, I'm sure there would be it would be very different. Is there actually a plus for or a minus to the thing if he's broken? Oh, that guy wasn't concealed. Shoot. Did I roll? What was my task check on that one? My prior task check was what, a 9? Yeah, I would not see him. Because -2. Yeah, there'd just be a -2. Yeah, no. So, because I lost a vehicle, there's no way for me to gain enough points in one phase, in the last remaining phase, to be able to win this. If I targeted this guy and things had gone well, we'll do an IFT 6 up 2. It's a pin task check, so nothing. Second attack, we're looking at a 5 on 6. And he would... I think a 5 on 6 is a 1 morale check. 5 on 6 is a 1 morale check, so he would have survived. So regardless, I would not have been able to get that kill, and thus I would not have gotten any success there, which is unfortunate. Anyways, that is going to be it for tonight, because again, there's no way for me to kill enough units at this point. The half squads are only worth 1, so the real worth here is going after the crews no matter what. It doesn't really make too much sense to run them away, because you could then attack, I guess. But yeah, that is aircraft in a nutshell. I hope that anybody who has been interested in the monkeys with typewriters scenario packs looks into them. Again, they're a nice, varied set of scenarios. It's hard to really go wrong with free stuff. It really allows you to look at them, explore, and at least in a grander scheme, be able to look at the design philosophies that people had at those different times. So to give people an idea of things here, there are 3. There's 3 scenarios, and they're having a birthday upstairs. Aw. Happy birthday to whoever is celebrating their birthday upstairs. So these scenario packs, there's one in 2008, one in 2009, and one in 2010. So it gives you an idea of, what the mindset was for these. It's really cool to see them all essentially be available for free. It's like 43 scenarios. So if anybody's ever interested in them, highly recommend to go check them out. The first one is the Battle of Carpiquet, so 1944. The second one, as we're seeing right now, Norwegians and Germans, 1940. And the other one seems to be Finnish, German versus Russian. I'm just going to pick 4 random ones and see if they're all the same time frame. 1944. Yeah, they're all 1944, it seems. And all taking place on the Eastern Front and what looks like, the Finnish/Norwegian region. So yeah, again, as always, if you're interested in it, highly suggest it. It's pretty cool to see. If you're interested in aircraft scenario, it's hard not to see this one as very, very accommodating for anybody who has not played aircraft before. There's no special rules. There's no crazy, SSRs to make you think about XYZ. It's really just straightforward, and I think that is pretty commendable considering the only other one, like I said, is Yabo, and maybe you don't want to be on the receiving end of P-47s. I don't know. Anyways, that'll be it for me for tonight. Like I said, Rob, hope everything is fine with you and your family. Should hopefully have a game this Saturday. I mean, if I'm not playing myself, I will be playing Rudin. And I hope you're all there for it. Have a lovely week. Bye.